We are live at Stuhr Museum. You might recognize this structure. This is the Peter Stuhr House. It has been open to the public for about 2 years, a little less than 2 years. Here with Casanova, Director of Interpretive Resources, and we're going to go in and talk about what it takes to make this what you see. Now, what we were talking about a little bit was this is even though it's been open to the public for about 2 years, it's a work in progress.
It will continue to be a work in progress for some time. You have to live organically with a structure interpretively in order to be able to find out where the holes are at.
Okay.
There are things, artifacts that we may learn that we actually need. And those are the things that we can look for within our own collection to maybe fill those holes.
Okay, but real quick, this opened in the summer of 2017?
2018.
2018. All right, and it was on our grounds for a good bit of time before that.
Yes, it was. It has this part, the part of the house that we're sitting in right now, is the Peter Stuhr cabin. This was a 2-room with a center hallway structure, and this one is the one that has the adobe inside the walls.
Mm-hmm. You were saying this was an original wall.
Yeah, that's an original wall, and it's got the original sheathing on it. Outside, it was very similar. There was a space in between, and then there was battens that went over it, and that's perfectly described in the Eggy Diary.
Mm. All right, and that this was two structures that were jammed together at one point, right?
The back structure, I haven't confirmed who actually built that one, but the adobe was missing from that one. It was a similar setup with 2 rooms and a central hallway. That was probably when the Stuhrs joined the 2 cabins together. That's when they took out the central hallway in the back and made the large kitchen there. They have a back bedroom, and then they also had the upstairs, and there was a bedroom upstairs and a big storage area as well. This is not open to the public. At some point in time on the blog, I will have some pictures that show the interior, but at this time I have not got that taken care of yet.
Okay. And there's a big project right now that we were talking about a bit. There is a stove. We'll get back to that in a minute. I want to hit just a couple more things about this, about the structure. So you were saying about the holes that you would find in the structure, just living with it interpretively. What sort of, can you give us an example for this building of some things that maybe you saw that you would want and that you didn't have and that we've been filling in?
Well, this room is an excellent example. There's not a lot of things in it. Now that is not necessarily a bad thing, but there should be a few other things. What those things should be, we are still working on. There might need to be another lamp for this table. There might need to be clothing, examples of clothing in the wardrobe over there. I have the chair pulled out by the stove because when you're sitting and kind of working on the stove, it's more comfortable sitting in a chair than bending over. There might need to be some kids' toys, because interpreting this as Grandma's house. So this is the room where the kids stay when they come to stay with Grandma. This is Grandma's old rope bed. And so the kids think it's fun. So, because it is the 1890s and they're beyond the rope bed phase.
Mm-hmm. And then the kitchen, and then just off the kitchen we have
the pantry. Now this portion of the house it's original to the house, but much later in the 1930s this was added. This actually was the bathroom and a entrance to get into the cellar that was made later in the life of the house. But this is a working pantry. This is where the icebox is. North wall is always preferred for an icebox so that you make that ice last as long as possible. The beecher cupboard over here is a very functional piece, so you can do a lot of preparatory work before going into the kitchen.
Okay. Yeah, just the level of detail that you have to be thinking about has got to be very high.
Yeah, and you could be working along and all of a sudden go, we don't have any knives. Oh, we might need to get some.
Sure. Which brings us to this big project, and this is more the behind the scenes part right here, because when you're in the house, chances are pretty good we're going to have things put together and ready for visitors, but this stove is definitely not put together. That is the eternal hope, right? But this stove is not put together, so tell me a little bit about what we're working on.
Well, the stove was a very generous donation, and we thought we had it to a functional phase, but we learned that we had some problems with it. The center portion of this, there's a piece that goes here and a piece that goes on this side, and at some point in time in its life, it had a large fire in it to the point that it carbonized the steel.
And we can see all the way
And
through.
it kind of made a big problem. So we did a workaround with some of the fire bricks, but that didn't work enough because we're still having smoke rolling out around all of the cracks and crevices. Thanks to the generosity of Don Diedemeyer, he has made us the parts, working with the Spitz Foundry down in Hastings to cast the new parts, replacement parts. Don made the forms, and they have got it cast, and hopefully we'll have the stove put back together very soon. We have a couple holes. We've got to patch this hole, and we've got to make a fix for this portion to kind of make the firebox area a lot more airtight. It makes the stove function more efficiently. And if we're going to do cooking with our HATS programs, our summer adventures, or interpretively, we need to have a functional stove.
Can we say it's a gorgeous stove?
It is. It's a really nice stove. I actually, it's a Laurel brand, and I actually found advertisements in some newspapers, and wonderfully, the one advertisement actually has an illustration of how the airflow is supposed to work on the stove. And so that's kind of helping us, guiding us to make this more functional.
And what is the hope that we'll be able to do once the stove is put back together?
Well, hopefully we'll be able to generate some cooking videos here, have some adult education classes, as well as continuing our HATS program and Summer Adventures program here and interpretively.
All right, so something to look forward to. So, yeah, it takes a lot to, more than you might think, to put together a historic home and to keep it.
There's a lot of people that made this place possible. If we hadn't had help from Hall County Historical Society, Fran Cronin, the Faust family, the city of Grand Island that let the building park on its property for a while before it got to Stuhr, this thing would not have come together to get to this point. And it's through the generosity of tons of people that this house is where it's at right now. And it's been a blast working with this and developing this house and putting together. It's kind of a labor of love for me.
Yeah. But
it's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see how much further we can get with it the next couple of years.
Yep. And do you want to plug the blog real quick that you did when you were in the years between when it moved on Stuhr's grounds and where we are now?
Yeah, I put together a blog about the process, and I was looking at it today going, I really need to do some updates. It's homestoveneedle.org, and there's pictures on there. It shows interior pictures. You can see the adobe, the walls, some of the found items that we had, the bottle that fell out of the wall, the shoe, all of those things are on the blog.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you for taking this tour of the building. We are going to be doing a few more behind-the-scenes videos, but this one I think was really eye-opening on a number of levels. So thank you for watching, and we hope everyone is staying safe and well.